I would like to welcome everyone to Mapleton City Council meeting on August 18th, 2021. We have a full council this evening. We'll begin with invocation by Councilman Garrett and led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Jones.
Our Father in heaven, we bow before you at the beginning of this city council meeting. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to be citizens of this wonderful community. We're grateful for the moisture that has fallen and the life that it will breathe back into the earth. We're grateful for the staff and the employees that help keep this city running. We pray that they'll bless each of them and guide them and direct them. We're thankful for the opportunity we have to meet tonight, and we pray that will bless us, that will guide us and direct us in our decisions and our discussions. We pray a blessing upon those who are protecting us in the public safety department, especially those who are keeping a tight eye or close watch on the flooding potential tonight. And we pray for those citizens in that area. And we say these things now in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move to our consent agenda. Actually, before consent agenda, yes. Did you sign up, Mike? I did. All right, we'll open it for public forum now and have Mike come forward and state your name for the record. Thank you.
Mike, will you please use the microphone?
There we go. Lots of rules, Mike.
Well, I noticed that when I was in here, we were always told not to bend it around.
Oh,
Some of you guys, like,
We got new ones since then.
that might be why they don't work, because they were all bent around.
it would be nice if there was a road closure czar to say the least inconvenience, the nicest word I can come up with.
Are you asking for that appointment?
I'll do it. Last night, there was no signs here. You had semi-trucks, everything else having to go down and turn around in the the grade school parking lot and drive up over their curb, knocked one of their signs down to get out of there. That poor lady down there got the one finger salute more than you could possibly imagine. And the same thing happened here, and finally they moved somebody up here. So,
Just a lack of traffic control then is what it is.
Yeah, and there's been times when I've come home when I've done, and this is an exaggeration, I've done 5 detours to get to my house. Now that's getting better. I realize there's lots of construction, but it'd be nice if they had to report to somebody so that the police knew what was happening and the citizens. It's just a thought.
Yeah, I've noticed that this project on Maple Street, we've had some lack of traffic control, and that started on Saturday. So, but luckily they did it in 98% of it in 2 days, which is nice. But
they took out Comcast yesterday too. Those guys did. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't.
Yeah, they pulled the line down, and
hopefully we got one more day and that project's done. We've been fighting it for.
And while on that subject, what's happened with the Mapleton Wireless, high-speed internet?
High-speed internet?
Yeah, I mean
The fiber.
Fiber, yeah.
So we have the bonding in place. All the product has been ordered. Should start arriving in October. And the RFP should go out any day now for contractors.
Because I'm looking forward to the divorce.
We've got our very first.
You might want to specify.
Our very first subscription right here.
Yeah. This is on record. You should specify which divorce you're talking about.
Yeah, the one that's costing me $300.
Okay. Well,
Oh, wow.
all right.
I have a lot of people at my house, and they have a lot of disregard for my money.
Yeah, so it's soon. Hopefully between first, second quarter next year, we're going to be powering people up. So
Okay.
that's the plan.
Now, my next thing I wanted to ask you about is 800 North. So there's been a lot of houses built. There's going to be a whole lot more houses built. And there's three things that I'd like the city council to consider. First one is no parking signs from Todd's house down to 800. Believe it or not, people are parking there.
Where's Todd's
Because we only have
house?
half plus 7 right now on the north side, 800.
That road's under standard there. It should have been wider there. It's not even half plus 5.
So Third West going west?
Yeah.
That's from Third West down to 89. When you get up to, and I only know things by who lives there, I don't know them by address, where Jesse Warren lives, from there to Third, there needs to be signs on that side of the road, no parking as well. Right now, if somebody parks there, you can't pass another car by Denver Green's house, which is the one that's on the corner, the older home. If we had no parking signs there, my concern is there's been several times when little kids have darted out from between those parked cars. And since I'm old and drive slow anyway, but my reactions are slow and it scares me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to stop.
Understood. I know what you're referring to, so.
Okay, but, you know, just those two little sections. The other part, the road's wide and people can pass and, you know. Then from the Whiting subdivision to Highway 89, there are 5 properties that don't have sidewalk. More than half of it belongs to one family. It would be nice, I know that you could force a, what do they call it, Jim? Where you?
Eminent domain?
Yeah, well, no, you don't have to do eminent domain, but you can make people
easement?
put curb gutter and sidewalk in.
We could actually go have a conversation with them first and see if they'd
Right.
be willing, right?
You've got
Dedicate the property.
Just a special improvement
the guy
district.
that runs the cranes,
York?
not York, no, his brother-in-law owns that piece of property, the blank one there between him and his house. That's where the sidewalk goes from 4 foot to 3 foot, going that direction. I think that you could probably talk to them because the curb and gutter's there. And then, do Thorpe still own the
No, Dennis Hill does. But we've got a sidewalk plan being done right now, Mike, and we're gonna tell Steven to consider this and see where it fits in there.
Down past the daycare center, and then the other thing on there is, and I know it's gonna be a burden for them, but the daycare center needs to do something about parking. It's pretty bad when they pick up and drop off, it's just really unsafe. You got those big double-loaded trucks hauling balls down through there, and in the middle of the night, you've got, I mean, you know, you increase the population of that area by 3-fold. And so now you've got kids walking to Fizz all the time, and they just walk down the middle of the road in the dark, you know, 'cause
Yeah,
we were all stupid too at one time, so, you know.
that's a good point, actually.
Anyway, those are just the two things that you know, you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Fine. I hope you can get a hold of that
Yeah, we'll
property that,
see if we can pull that off.
pull that one off.
Yeah.
All righty.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mike.
guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
it. All right, that's all we had for public forum. And Corey, you got those notes. We can share those with Steven. Thank you. All right, we'll look for a motion to approve our consent agenda item, which is just approval of our city council meeting minutes from August 4th, 2021.
Camille, did you make that change I requested? Okay. I had a change for one of my quotes just to clarify.
Second?
We have a motion by Councilman Carlson, a second by Councilman Lumberg.
Did you change the phrasing?
Well, I changed it on my copy on my computer, but
Do we need to acknowledge it in this motion?
Yeah, let's acknowledge it with the condition,
You have it there handy?
or we can just acknowledge it with the condition of
Oh,
what Jessica
condition
said.
of
I found my email. The context for clarification, I said, for the meeting minutes on the following lines, the context for my comment is unclear on lines 85, 86. It says, Egbert indicated that she personally lives on half acre and the requirements for size seem very large to her. asked her to update that to say that I personally live on a half acre and a detached unit on a half acre seems too large for the property without affecting density. So that was the change I requested.
Amend the motion to accept the minutes with the correction Jessica just made relative to her comment.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Carlson and a second by Councilmember Jones.
Carlson, yes.
Egbert, yes.
Garrett, yes.
Jones, yes.
All right, item number 2 is public hearing item. It's consideration of an ordinance to rezone approximately 4 acres of property from general commercial GC1 to RA2 located approximately 600 north on Highway 89. Mr. Conroy.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This is a property you're familiar with. As you recall, it's 31 acres in size. The western 4 acres that abuts Highway 89 is currently zoned GC1 or general commercial. And the eastern 27 acres we rezoned to RA1 with the TDRR receiving site overlay. The original concept, as you recall, had 42 residential lots in the RA1 section, and they were showing potential for commercial pad sites in the GC1. The council's approvals limited the density to 40 lots, and the applicant is now requesting approval to rezone the general commercial area to RA2. The RA2 zone would allow lots as small as 1/3 of an acre. They're proposing lots that range from 1/3 to just a little under 3/4 of an acre in size. This is the subject area. The 4 acres is this section to the left that abuts Highway 89 and directly across the street from that new Sunrise Ranch subdivision entrance. This is the proposed concept plan that they've included. You can see the eastern portion's been revised as recommended by the city council with some 1 acre lots and some half-acre lots and larger. And then this is the area in question tonight that includes 9 lots. What staff likes about this proposal is some of the things we talked about during the city council reviews is this allows them to do a little bit of a transition from the highway with 1/3 acres to half acres to 1 acre as you move east. The applicants also included a couple of small areas that can be entrance landscape features. We talked a little bit about that during council's previous discussions. We've got a couple of examples of what we've discussed with the applicant. They haven't finalized a plan yet. We've included a condition that would be part of the subdivision application, that they'll have a formal plan for those areas. As far as the general plan, the subject area is in that flex use zone or designated flex use, and the intent of that was to allow an applicant to either propose a commercial or a residential use. So the proposal to go to RA2 is in line with that flex use designation. And for those reasons, staff is supportive of the proposal and would recommend approval. We did include just some basic landscape examples from other subdivisions in town. If the council has some specific guidance they'd like to provide, we'd be happy to hear that, and then the applicant can take that and bring a formal landscape plan back with a subdivision application. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions if there's any from the council.
With that, we'll open it for a public comment. It's public, actually, does the applicant have anything to add first? If you do, come to, there you go.
Thanks, Mayor, council member. Yeah, I'd probably.
State your name, Ryan.
Ryan Johnston, Johnston Developments. Yeah, obviously we've talked about this a number of times, probably nothing that you haven't heard. Yeah, just as we've moved forward with the developer that we're working with, obviously to buffer these bigger lots, we've gone with this different proposal there, just a nice transition. I guess the one thing, and I've talked to Sean a number of times about the entrance, we're gonna have that concrete wall that'll run along there with the trail in front of it. And, you know, obviously, as we angle those walls in, we could put a plaque on the wall and do some landscape. Yeah, we're looking for some ideas. We've got some ideas, but we kind of felt like as we come back through with that process, we can bring something nice that will kind of open that up and make a nice entrance feature there. Yeah, other than just kind of, you know, matching what was generally planned with with these estate-sized lots, we felt like that was a better transition than some commercial ideas we had in the beginning. So,
With the entrance, with the examples that Sean has shared, and you've got some ideas, what is the plan for that to be continually maintained? Because presumably this is not a homeowners association, correct?
No, and I think Sean made a note there. Typically, what we've done is allowed the, we'll, as the developer, we'll put all that in, and then that property will still be the homeowners, and then we'll have them maintain that section.
They'll have to create some type of
Some CCNRs, something to say that is something they have to maintain and keep kind of up to city standard or whatever standard we put together as we push forward there with the development.
So that means that would be the homeowner that's right on the corner, not all of them?
Correct, yes, just the two homeowners.
When they buy that house, they know, oh,
That's
I gotta
right.
take care of that
Yep,
too.
that'll be
Yeah,
part.
in the end, though, we have to understand that there's nothing the city can do to enforce that. And, I mean, that is one of the uncertainties there with, as I understand it, there's gonna be a wall there, or there's gonna be basically some kind of a fence that separates that out.
Yeah, so by ordinance, right, along the highway, there'll be a masonry wall,
Right.
those stackable walls. A lot of times, as you enter, you just angle those a little bit, we can put a nice plaque on those, and then, some, like I said, usually, again, we can specify whatever, but just we'll, specify exactly what kind of, we'll take care of that for them in the planting of it, and even the irrigation system, then it would be up to them to maintain that.
So, and that's my question, because it appeared from this concept plan that, and I can't really tell from this, but you're saying that those properties will, or there's effectively 3 lots that would own up to the existing edge of the road and that would thereby own on the west side of the block fence?
Yeah, it would still be part of their property, yes.
So what would probably happen is this lot line would be squared off, and that the triangle area would be the area that would be the landscaped portion.
Well, I'm talking about on the west side of the northerly 2 lots.
You're talking about west side of the fence between the
Over
fence and
here?
Highway 89?
No, that'll be city right away on that area. So that'll be the planter strip down the highway. So it's just the entrance corners that would be
Okay, that's where I was
maintained by those two.
confused. All right.
Sean, is that city or UDOT right away?
It'll be city. So UDOT will handle to the curb, and then we've got behind that.
So if there's landscaping there, whose water do they use? The
Be the lot owner.
lot, so it'll tie into the lot owner's lot?
For those, this strip would be city-owned and maintained, but this would be
Each lot would have
private.
that one.
Mhm.
I would assume, Ryan, I don't know if you've met with UDOT or not yet, but that they're gonna have some taking there on the widening of the road where across the street, they've done that to that other subdivision.
Yeah, correct. We've kind of discussed that with them, and obviously as we move forward with that application,
Figure
we've
that
talked
out.
to Stephen about this, and obviously we've kind of laid that cross-section out, so.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions for the applicant? Thanks, Ryan. This is a public hearing item. We'll now open it for public comment. If you have comment, come forward now. Seeing there are none, we'll close the public hearing. And are there any other questions for Sean?
I just had a question, Sean, could you go back to the map? Which area is designated as flex use? Just wondering.
So what we did with the flex use is we protected all of the key intersections as commercial as you go down the highway, and then the area in between is what was allowed to be proposed as either a commercial. So yeah, the pink areas.
Street right there.
Yeah. And then you've got some here and some over here.
If I recall, it's because we actually had identified too much commercial for the ratio when we did this study, and that's why we have this flex use.
Correct.
I don't have any questions about it. I don't need to prescribe a design for the entry. I think that'll come forward, and I like how this transition has occurred. I think it's really good use of this space, so I'm pleased to see it.
I agree. I echo that. I just appreciate you guys working with us, and the best thing I see about this last proposal here is the transition. It just looks, those 1 acres on that east side are awesome, and then blended to the 3 acres. I think all of the discussions and concerns that I had along the way have been met, so.
I'm still not real comfortable, I don't understand, I just want to get creative on those corners, Ryan, with and Sean, who's going to maintain that and how, and make sure that, the point in doing it is to make sure that the highway looks good, right? And we all know that, you know, some people like to mow their lawn at 6 inches high and some like it at 3 inches high. And so I want to get creative there and make sure that there's a way in which either the city can enforce it, Jim, if it's possible, if we can record something across that piece of property or some, without an enforcement to an HOA where there's funds being, you know, gathered to take care of it, we don't need to do it tonight because I don't know what the answer is, but just in the conversation, so when you come back for that, unless you had another idea. Come up to the mic, Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say, is if the city's already maintaining area in there, why don't we just pick it up?
Yeah, we're happy with that. If, like I said, you're gonna be kind of maintaining that little buffer strip between the fence and the asphalt path. If the city wants those I mean, I'm not trying to give you
Sure.
things, but
Yeah.
if the city was like, hey, we would rather be in control of that, 100% we would be
It's
on
just a
board.
real prominent space on the highway there coming into town. I want to make sure it's,
Especially since it's on the other side of a wall, that's gonna lend itself to the homeowner to
If we're gonna
neglect it
do
even
that,
more.
we need to understand this is a precedent, because that will, any other projects that enter onto the
Right.
highway, we're gonna be owning it.
Got
And there is,
500 of these.
and there is one on the south end of the highway that, in my personal opinion, does need some work. And are we gonna maintain all these others? I don't know how many that will be.
yeah,
And
that's,
then there's one on the south end that needs to be
Right,
done.
so-
I mean, that's a reality that we need to be very much aware of.
So we can
Point.
talk with Parks and Rec a little bit and with Ryan
Yeah,
as we
I
get
don't
this-
really like the idea of the parks. I would love to do that, but the last thing I want then is to have, because it would have to be dedicated to the city.
Right.
Yeah.
Then ultimately, then you're gonna be running into the question of if it's not maintained up to the standard that keeps the value of the home, the adjacent homes, we're gonna get all kinds of complaints and say, hey, as part of the agreement for this, there was an understanding that the city would maintain, well, define maintain.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
That's gonna create a quagmire. So we're talking about worst-case scenarios, whether there's no HOA or there's no residential input or interest in maintaining it versus the city tries to do it but doesn't do it to the standard that the neighborhood wants, and that's where, there again, ideally an HOA, at least as to those, I guess as part of a concept plan, there wouldn't be, my understanding is there's no intent whatsoever to have any kind of an HOA there, right?
We just didn't feel like there was enough there to
Yeah.
really, justify an HOA. But we're happy to, like I said,
I mean,
work with staff.
in the
and
end, I
council.
look at it and say, hey, I mean, if that was just a bunch of tumbleweeds, it's gonna impact the value of everybody in that subdivision. I mean, people pulling in there. So how well it's maintained and everything else, from my perspective, if I'm gonna build a home in there, I'd say I'm happy to participate
$20.
$20 a year, whatever, in an HOA to maintain that so it looks perfect. And that way, the idea of the entryway into the very first thing you see when you pull into your subdivision is a beautiful entryway. That's gonna have a
We can't-
valuation
We can't
impact.
sell half-acre lots for $300,000 or whatever they sell for and have $1 million homes on them, and you're pulling into the neighborhood and it looks like that. That's like having the internet we have today available to us. It's not acceptable.
And
It's
we're
just not.
committed, obviously, now, there's, some pieces there to work through, but
Yeah.
we want it to be nice, obviously.
sure.
We want it to be nice, I know you want it to be nice, we're willing to work through.
Yeah,
We
ultimately,
just need to get creative on how the
That's-
best way to do that is.
it's also
can
the
talk.
value to the developer if that looks
Absolutely,
perfect.
absolutely.
We can
so.
talk with the builder and see if
Okay.
they've got some ideas on things they've done
Perfect.
before too, so.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Ryan.
I might mention that it looks like one of those lots is one of the smallest lots in the whole subdivision, which lends itself to being a small house and, anyway, just quite different. I don't know if we can make that lot a little bit larger so it doesn't impact that lot size so much.
Okay. You let us know what you come up with, Sean,
Okay.
on that. All right. Any other questions?
make a motion. I move that we approve an ordinance to rezone approximately 4 acres of property from GC1 to RA2, located approximately 600 north and Highway 89.
With special conditions.
We'd probably want to modify too if we're leaving the option open to potentially have a HOA.
Does it have it in there?
So what we had said is that they would provide the final landscaping plan and the feature would be maintained either in private or by an HOA.
Oh,
You could just strike that second
yeah, let's just strike
sentence
that,
and we'll work that out.
not include it in tonight's approval.
Okay. So one and the first sentence of 2.
As part of the motion.
As part of my motion.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Garrett and a second by Councilmember Jones.
Egbert, yes.
Garrett, yes.
Jones, yes.
Lundberg, yes.
Carlson, yes.
All right, great. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Ryan. All right, move forward with our administrative reports. Shall we do Sean?
Nothing for me.
Okay.
I got
Chief.
a couple for you. Easy ones, kind of. The evacuations went really well today. It was quick. The National Weather Service called and said, you got a couple quick hitters coming through. There's 3 right in a row, but nothing as of now has come down. So everybody, that was lifted, and so it was a few hour evacuation there, but that went well. Credit to Chief Glasgow. He's got that down to a science. He's up there with the media now. They were interested in that story today. I'll be blunt. I told them on the news or on the phone, there's really nothing to see. But they're like, no, we're coming down. So I think he spent some time talking about the evacuation plan and the cones and stuff he has up there. So you'll see that tonight.
They wanted to interview Councilman Lombard tonight too, so if you'll head on up there.
Yeah, when they called me, I was running to my truck and said, he's in a green jacket when you get here, just for the guy in the green jacket. Second thing, Leslie and I talked a little bit about this morning, but it's going to be an ongoing thing. The traffic down by the new school is something else. It's, wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, left turns are a nightmare down there. I think people, as they go forward, will adjust their routes a little bit to maybe make it a little easier. The traffic light, as you know, is not done. So we feel obligated to have officers down there in the morning to cross kids out of Harvest Park. Obviously, it was the first day and it was raining, but there was only a couple today, but we'll be down there until the light's in.
So my wife told me that she was waiting on the line back by the assisted living center to turn in right, but she went past those and turned in, and everyone was using the far right lane of the 3 lanes in the entry. Are they allowing you to drop off in all 3 lanes or not, or do we know?
So I don't know what the school's allowing, and I don't know what their plan is, but what I should have realized sooner is that we're taking in a lot of the east bench of Spanish Fork, which they're accessing 89 from the south side, and I didn't anticipate problems on South 89, but they're there. So which lanes that they're dropping off in, I'm not sure.
Because she said that when she left there and went in, she went right up to the front and dropped them off, where everyone was just waiting in that single line. So I don't know if right at the entry, we move one of the officers up at the entry and have them flow into all 3 lanes. Maybe it'll be a lot quicker and we can get them.
If you're okay, I think I'll reach out to the principal and have
Yeah.
him send some staff out there to
That'd be
do that.
perfect.
I'm wondering though, and I noticed even in the afternoon, people come to pick up and they're parked along the curb, and then you have your through traffic coming. So if I understand what you've just suggested, you've got people doing double entries into the parking lot, but you've also got through traffic coming out on the highway, so.
Or you have a single lane that turns in and it
And then
just
they feed
flows
into- okay,
faster,
I
because
see.
then they
I
feed
see.
in. Because the
Okay.
problem is they all get stuck in that one spot.
Yeah, I think we could help with some flow there. That would be helpful. The other problem is coming out of the school on 4 South. If they're to turn left to go south on the highway, it's just impossible. It's just not happening. It's just not. So we need to work with the school down there and get that figured out. The light will help. The light will help a ton. So we'll limp through that for the next week. We think that'll be in the next week or so. But it's busy down there. I was surprised at how much traffic's down there in the morning.
And to your point this morning, people's behavior will change as this is the first day of school, and their behavior does change when they see the nightmare that
So
it is.
I noticed that in one day, on Tuesday for the orientation day, that was just a quick day, people coming out of Harvest Park onto the highway were stuck trying to turn left. I noticed today many of those people went down to Slant Road and used the light at Maple Street to get on. So people are adjusting, but hey, it's a sight to see down there in the morning and
Yeah.
afternoon. So we'll stay with that. And then last thing, next Wednesday, a week from today, this email came in this afternoon. I just want to give you guys a heads up on this and invite you if you would like to come. Every year over Labor Day, the Department of Public Safety does a Labor Day DUI blitz where they pay overtime. We use it every year. They'll pay the city money and we'll let officers work overtime and they go out and look for drunk drivers. Happens all over the state. But they like to kick that off with a media event. And when they do that, they want to focus on an accident that's happened with an impaired driver. Well, you guys will remember about 5 years ago, we had the young lady killed on 1600 North by an impaired driver. They want to focus on that crash. Her name was Catherine Shaw. I think it's important to use her name, Catherine Shaw. Bright young girl, was going to graduate in 3 days. We've developed a great relationship with her family. Her parents are wonderful people. Devin and Kara Shaw, they're going to be here to speak on that next Wednesday. And it's kind of a big deal. They make a big, the Department of Public Safety, they're going to bring in a ton of cars. They're going to bring in a ton of media. They asked us if we could host that, and we agreed to that. So that will be next Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Obviously, our guys will participate in that too. Depending on the weather, they're going to come over on Friday and kind of look at some different areas to do some of their filming or their where they want to be. We've offered them our banquet hall if they want to do that. But Devin will speak at that, Catherine's dad. We'll also have our speed trailer that has Catherine's name on it there as well, and then some of our guys. So it'll be a pretty cool event, but that'll be next Wednesday at 10 in the morning, 10 a.m. So right now I'm told the banquet hall, but I suggested our parks as well, and they may move.
You'll confirm with us?
Yeah.
Chief, let's send an email to them first of the next week with the specifics on that location.
And if it's okay with you, I'll forward you what they sent me today, so you can kind of see their description. I'll forward that to you right now, so. And then I reached out to the fire chief. He said he had nothing to report, but things are going well over there, so thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Good job handling first day of school today. I saw guys at every spot, and they did a great job. Good job. All right, Reed? I don't have anything. All right. Jessica?
Two things. We've been talking about Parks and Rec and the future as the city continues to grow, and so we're looking at creating or relaunching a Parks Committee and a Rec Committee, so you'll see some information coming forward about that. And then can I request around that school we consider getting crosswalks striped in on the roads, especially as that light comes in, as people are coming down to that four-way. I'd love to have some
I think that's
stripes.
planned.
Yeah, 800 will have it, for sure.
The fourth can't have it.
Yeah.
You're talking fourth across 89, Jessica? Or fourth on
I'm
the
talking
other
about,
side?
so, well, I assume with the light it'll come in, but I mean like over by the four-way by my house that we just put in from that neighborhood.
Oh, that one I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
That one's city, so that's something to talk to Stephen about. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's
Great. Let's ask him about that stop.
Just don't say stop sign.
I didn't request it.
Say
intersection. That's it.
Great, thanks, Jessica. Theron?
So I've, through a few connections through some networking that I did, I've got a potential mountain bike trail designer that might come down for free and at least look at the 30 acres of land that we just switched over.
That's cool.
If that's okay, I'd like to coordinate that with some of the staff and set a date for him to come down and take a look at it.
You're gonna put a skate park right in the middle of that?
I don't know.
AJ asked for it.
Many people have asked for it. That's all I have.
Great, thanks, Theron. Leslie?
No report.
Jim?
Nothing.
Camille? All right.
Camille, why don't you touch base on our Meet the Candidates night?
Oh, so that is going to be held on, so instead of having council meeting on October 6th, we are going to hold the Meet the Candidate night. And our Chamber of Springville Mapleton Chamber is going to run that. They did that 2 years ago. And the reason for not holding council meeting is the ballots are going out on October the 12th, and we wanted to give the month of September for people to submit questions, and then that was the best available day to do that.
That next week also is fall break,
And yeah,
right?
the 13th, we want to initially do it on the 13th, but that is fall break, so.
Do you know the format for it? Are they gonna lob some softballs, or is it gonna be more
At this
debate
point, it
style?
will be very similar to what we did 2 years ago. So if there are suggestions or insights, let me or Camille know, because I'll be working with Melanie on that.
I expect you there to grill us.
I was just gonna ask, can I be the mediator and come up with my
Yes,
own
you can.
questions?
That'd be awesome.
And I may not appear if that's the case.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit in the back and watch. This sounds like
And it will be, we will stream it. Right, Camille?
we will stream it.
Yep.
It'll be in this room.
Great, excellent, thanks, Camille.
Two easy
All right,
ones
Corey.
for you. First off, with these last couple of storms, a number of our trees in our city parks, tree branches, they're old and they're falling in our parks and in some of the neighbors. We got a tree in Wing Point, for example, that probably needs to go down. It's kind of sad to see. It's a big, mature tree. It's been here for a long time. It'll be about $4,000 to $6,000 to take down, but the neighbors got some legit reasons, and in that last storm, quite a bit fell in their yard, and they were lucky their grandkids weren't out there. So it's possible here, as we're looking at some things, that we might need to start budgeting about $10,000 a year just on tree trimming, and that's at a minimum.
Can I make a suggestion that as part of that planning, if we kill a tree, we plant a tree?
Yeah, good,
How about plant two for everyone?
There you go.
yeah.
Since we are an Arbor Day
Yeah.
city of the Tree City USA, right?
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotta
no,
live up to
good-
that name.
Good idea on that. And the next one, send an email out on just our fiber timeline, if you get a chance to take a look at that. Email or call me with any suggestions, questions. If you'd like to have Matt come and present here at the city council meeting, we can do that. And it also gives us some ideas on some logos. And Councilmember Egbert, I seen your email, and we can talk that a little bit too. So if you got some, if you have an opportunity, take a look at that email and let me know if you have any questions or suggestions on it. So it's coming. The basement, as we speak, is getting constructed in at north end, so.
Excellent. One thing I'll add is if you know of anyone that lives around you or anyone that may be semi-retired or retired that is willing to mow lawns or wants a side job or something like that, we're a little bit strapped with some help. So if they want to, come get trained and work,
You know what, that's a
a
great
few hours a
thing.
week or something, if you know someone or could use extra money and is willing to work, then we'll take them.
That's a great thing. Would you put that in the newsletter? I know the newsletter's about ready to go out. There are plenty of, it's a great opportunity for a retired person or someone that, like you say, just wants a side job.
Yep. So have them come talk to Corey and Logan and figure that out. All right.
Seasonal though, right?
Possibly, depends on how good they are. It's always options, always opportunity. All right, any other questions or items?
Just our next, those concerts in the park are running, doing very good in a farmer's market, so it's pretty neat for Mapleton, our community. And then we do have our upcoming Moonlight Half on Friday, September the 10th, so we'll keep you posted with that one.
I haven't talked to Corey about this yet, because I just found this out last night. I'm coaching a football team, and they pulled a tricky one on me.
Hold an audible.
We're supposed to play on Saturdays, and they put the schedule out, and it's on Wednesdays. So I have 2 games in October or 2 in September and 1 in October that are on Wednesdays. So I don't know, looks like one's at 7:30, which would be a city council meeting on the 22nd. The only reason I'm bringing it up is to see, and then on the October 6th is at 6:30, but if I don't have,
Yeah, we'll be October 6th.
I'd love to,
That's
I'd love to drill Jim if I could. But, and then October 20th is the next, but I don't have the schedule. So maybe just play it by ear. It doesn't look like, it might be one conflict or something.
Okay.
Had I known that, I could have done something different,
Or
but
if you want us to come to your football game, we can.
we could just, yeah.
There.
Everybody meet there?
It's a very public forum.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thanks for all your hard work on all the different things you do. I know that you guys are involved in a lot of stuff and out of the scenes, so thank you for your work on that. We'll look for a motion to close.
So moved. Second.
Yes.
I have a motion and a second, and all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you. Thanks, Camille.